Texting and drinking is never a good idea. We've all done it, and we've all regretted it. The drunken texts you forgot you sent. Prospectors collected them in Texticated on Rock 107.
From the 612 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 3 guys just busted into my bio lecture, yelled Happy St. Patrick's Day, downed Jaeger bombs, and left. Area code 402, Omaha, Nebraska. Package from Mother. Contents, cookies, my old Pokemon cards, and condoms. Note, these have a July 2025 expiration date, so give them away or use them with a gal that would make a great daughter-in-law. Love, Mom. And from the 404 in Atlanta, Georgia, it's no longer St. Patrick's Day. I should not still have green boobs.
You hit send, and we hit the floor laughing in Texticated on Rock 107.
Wilmington, Delaware, area code 302. I just took my birth control pill with a shamrock shake. Happy St. Patrick's Day. From the 724, Newcastle, PA, I told him I don't date guys unless they play a musical instrument. So he's here and he bought a kazoo. And 623, Phoenix, Arizona. It could be worse. I was dumped by a guy in a kilt after he gave away my shoes on St. Patrick's Day.
Proof that booze and cell phones don't mix in Texticated on Rock 107.
Louisville, Kentucky, area code 502. I just woke up to people screaming funnel in my kitchen. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Atlanta, Georgia, area code 678. I read the police report. You asked a cop if he could use his in-car computer to update your Facebook. No way you weren't getting a DUI. And from the 773, Chicago, Illinois, whose idea was it to start the NCAA tournament less than a week after St. Patrick's Day? My liver needs time to recover from things like this.
Hey, we found him in your telephone in Texticated on Rock 107.
Somewhere is scratching something off their basket going, I can't believe I didn't get that. The madness is underway. It's Prospector Show on Rock 107. And Kate, we have our own bracket of rock and roll called Mount Rockmore, which I think is pretty cool.
I think it's great. I'm having so much fun refreshing the Rock 107 page.
Just to see the vote tallies change?
Yeah, they change.
In fact, I just did that now. 60%. Okay, so it has changed. So today's battle, in the Battle of 16, as we whittle them down to 4 for Mount Rushmore, is?
It is AC/DC versus Guns N' Roses and Rolling Stones versus Led Zeppelin.
Zeppelin has a big lead, 83% to 17 or so for the Stones, which is shocking to me. But that just went up for the Stones, so somebody got in there and voted.
That one's shocking to me, but we still have a couple hours.
A closer battle that I kind of predicted to be close, that started off with one band running away and now is tightening up, AC/DC and Guns N' Roses. It's 60-40.
I know. AC/DC is still in the lead, but for how much longer? This happened, what was it, yesterday with the Beatles and the Eagles as well. I love
going back and forth and all that. So you can vote. You can affect change. Just go to rock107.com. And today, it's finally on the main page at rock107.com where you can hit Mount Rockmore. You'll see the Mount Rushmore faces with question marks. You hit that, and then you could go and vote for the bands you think should win. Now, I'll tell you what not to do to vote. Don't text me a vote. No offense, just I'm not going to be able to put it in for you. We can't do that.
We can't do that.
Don't hit me up on Facebook for a vote. Don't comment on our post and vote that way, because you know what? We're not going to be able to help.
Not going to be able to do it. But it is everywhere. The link to Mount Rockmore is littered everywhere. It's on my Instagram story. It's on Rock 107's Facebook page. I believe it's on your Instagram and your Facebook.
Facebook.com/Angry Prospector. Yes. Same thing on Instagram. It's there. You just go and make your vote known. That way, when it all comes down, you're not going, that's not what I thought would happen.
Breaking the news that's already broken. It's time for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Actress Glenn Close and Kansas City Chief Coach Andy Reid both celebrate birthdays today. If you can't tell the difference, Glenn had a fatal attraction to Michael Douglas. Andy has a fatal attraction to Wendy's Baconator. Conan O'Brien will host the Oscars again next year. It's the only job he's ever had that hasn't been stolen by Jay Leno. March Madness is underway. Lots of people in West Virginia don't care. They're too busy with March Madness.
It's 60 Minutes meets Gone in 60 Seconds. Tune in tomorrow for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Rock 107. Who doesn't love a good mashup Who? I want to know because I want to yell at them. It's Prospector Show. Good morning. I'm Prospector.
Good morning. I'm Kate. YouTube is full of mashups.
Lousy with them. It is.
But this one's solid. Someone combined Let It Whip by Daz Band.
Yeah, great song.
With The Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes, plus 4 other songs, and it just works.
So the other songs, Ain't Talking About Love by Van Halen, Rainbow in the Dark by Dio, Are You Gonna Go My Way by Lenny Kravitz, and Whip It by Devo.
The guy behind it, Bill McClintock, who does tons of these mashups. There's a Spice Girls Slipknot video that went massively viral a few years back. And I've heard that one, and I love that one.
Now, I didn't hear that one. I've seen a ton of his other mashups, but like sometimes you got to go through like 5, 6, 7 minutes. We don't have that kind of time this morning, okay?
No, sorry.
So here's a shortish edit of the whole Let It Whip, Lonely Heart, Rainbow in the Dark thing. Think of this when you hear it.
I was just thinking that. How do you have such an ear to realize that all of those songs can be blended together so beautifully?
That's crazy. It's amazing.
That did absolute numbers on TikTok. Solid mashup. You heard the Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes with Let It Whip by Daz Band, Ronnie James's Dio, Rainbow in the Dark.
All of that, and there's other songs that didn't make it to the edit, the shortest edit we needed. Basically, it's the perfect playlist for a guy who just got divorced, bought a Corvette, and is now aggressively air guitaring in a Chili's parking lot.
Life's pretty tough right now. There's plenty of bad news, but it's not all bad. It's time for the brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
A 3-year-old in Colorado saved his great-grandmother after she fell last month and hit her head. It happened next to some steps outside of her home, and her phone was in the car. She told him to be brave and go get it for her. He was scared because it was dark out, but he came through. There's security cam footage, and you can hear him tell himself, "Don't be afraid."
Thanks. We needed that. The brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
Sonic, Northeast PA's classic rock Prospector Show on your Burger Mania station, Rock 107. And Kate, I think it's important for all of us to understand each other just a little bit better.
We can take a step towards doing that if we spend a little time in each other's heads.
And now it's time for another episode of 1 Minute Inside a Woman's Head.
Well, St. Patrick's Day is over. Now what? When's the next holiday where it's socially acceptable to drink at noon? Easter? No, probably not. Unless I start hiding mini bottles of Fireball instead of eggs. But that might raise some questions. Mother's Day? Mimosas, sure. But that's more of a sip and pretend you're relaxed holiday. Plus, it's about me time, and apparently I can't claim that if I'm already 3 margaritas in by brunch. Memorial Day? Okay, here we go. That's a solid one. Backyard barbecue, coolers full of beer, and no judgment for day drinking because it's patriotic. All right, just got to make it through April. I can do this. Maybe I'll make up a fake holiday in the meantime. Spring Whiskey Fest? National Sangria Awareness Month? Oh, maybe I'll just celebrate Arbor Day with a nice tall glass of wine. You know, for the trees.
And that was another episode of 1 Minute Inside a Woman's Head.
So if you hear that and you're thinking, well, why is Prospector and Kate, what are they doing? Why are they ripping on the women? What's the matter with them?
Don't worry. We'll make fun of the men after the break on Rock 107.
It's Prospector Show on Rock 107. And Kate, before the commercials, we did something enlightening, really.
Spent a minute inside a woman's head.
But that's not the only thing we're going to do. We'll do it with the men as well.
But a man's attention span is so much shorter.
And now it's time for another episode of A Few Seconds Inside.
This is not how you handle a technical difficulty. Details with the winner of Prospector's Yam Bag of the Day. That announcement is coming up on Rock 107.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab the kids, call your neighbors, and gather around the radio.
It's now time to announce the winner of Prospector's Yam Bag of the Day, as decided by you at rock107.com.
We uncover the most baffling, ridiculous, pathetic, cockeyed, laughable, preposterous blunders in the world of misdeeds. Nominee number 1.
If you're hammered at a bar on St. Patrick's Day weekend, you may get the urge to sing Linger by the Cranberries, but it's not cool to do this if it doesn't work out. A 34-year-old man named Aaron Jablonski was at a place called Overtime Sports, and he became furious when the karaoke machine wasn't working. He stormed out. That's when another karaoke fan tried to get him to cool down. Aaron wasn't having it. Pulled a gun out of his waistband, pointed it at the other guy, and shouted, "I don't effing care." Someone called the cops, and when they showed up, Aaron still had the gun. Witnesses say they saw him waving it around and firing off around, but no one was hurt. Aaron was arrested on 2 felony charges, aggravated assault and possession of a firearm by a felon.
Nominee number 2.
Sometimes the clothing people wear in their mugshots make it difficult for us to avoid judging a book by its cover. A 44-year-old man in Florida named Danielle Murillo was arrested for battery after an argument with a woman turned violent. He reportedly punched a 24-year-old woman in the head. They were traveling together, but the car broke down and they ran out of money, so they were living in the vehicle and things were getting tense. The man claims they were dating for a few months. The woman denied any kind of intimate relationship with him. In any event, when Daniel was arrested, he was wearing a T-shirt that read, "I never argue."
And the winner is...
the guy who pulled a gun at a bar because the karaoke machine wasn't working. You are the Yam Bag of the Day, and we'll move on to Friday's Yam Bag of the Week competition. Keep it here for all the nominees for Prospector's Yam Bag of the Day, weekday mornings on Rock 107. Thanks for listening to Prospector's Prime Cuts podcast. Be sure to catch us live weekdays from 5:30 to 10 a.m. on Rock 107 or online at rock107.com or the Rock 107 app, a free download for your Android or iPhone. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss Prospector's Prime Cuts.